The rain was falling hard on the busy streets of London when Mason, a wealthy young businessman in his late 20s, parked his black Lamborghini near a small bookstore. Normally, he never visited such places, but something unusual made him stop that day. A girl was standing in the doorway, completely soaked in the rain, yet smiling warmly as she handed her umbrella to an old man struggling to cross the road. That girl was Ava. Ava lived in a tiny apartment with her sick grandmother. She worked at the bookstore 6 days a week, earning just enough to pay the rent and buy her grandmother's medicines. She wore simple clothes, read second-hand novels, and drank cheap coffee. But the problem is, she never truly believed that dreams came true. Not for girls like her, not in a city like London, until Mason walked in. Mason entered the bookstore pretending to look for a rare book, but the truth was, he just wanted to see her again. Ava noticed his expensive shoes, sharp suit, and the diamond-studded watch on his wrist. She smiled gently and said, "We don't sell fairy tales here, sir." That made Mason smile, and he came back the next day, and the next. Each time, he bought books he never read, just to spend a few minutes with her. Slowly, he started asking about her favorite authors, her life, her dreams. She laughed with him. She opened up. She began to hope, but the problem is, Mason's mother, Victoria, was one of the richest women in England. Cold, powerful, and full of pride. She had already chosen Mason's future, marry Jessica, the daughter of a billionaire investor. It was a deal, a merger, a perfect society wedding. When Victoria found out about Ava, she was furious. "She's a bookstore worker," she shouted. "She is nothing. She wants your money." "I don't care," Mason replied. "She doesn't even know how rich I am, and that's why I love her." One rainy evening, Mason proposed to Ava with a simple silver ring under the very streetlight where they first met. She cried and whispered, "Yes." But the next day, everything changed. Victoria invited Ava to a 5-star hotel for a private conversation. Ava wore her best dress, which was still too plain for the shiny chandeliers above her head. Victoria didn't waste time. She placed a check on the table, £5 million. "Take it. Leave him. Disappear," Victoria said coldly. "This is more money than you will earn in a lifetime." Ava stared at the check. Her hands trembled. Her lips quivered. "I'm not for sale," she said quietly. "I love him, but I won't come between a mother and her son." She stood up and left the check untouched. That night, Ava vanished. Her phone was off. Her apartment was empty. No goodbye letter, no message, nothing. Mason searched every corner of London. He went to every bookstore. He waited near her street for days. But she was gone. Weeks passed. Mason became a ghost. He stopped going to meetings. He canceled his engagement with Jessica. His heart felt heavy every morning, and every night he stared at the ring she left behind on his car's windshield. One afternoon, while walking through a quiet market, he saw a little girl selling flowers. She was wearing a red scarf, the same one Ava always wore. "Where did you get that?" he asked, his heart racing. "A lady gave it to me," the girl said. "She has a library outside the city." Following the directions, Mason drove 2 hours out of London. In a small village, he found a cozy little building painted in bright colors. A sign read, "Ava's Reading Corner, free books for kids." He stepped inside, and there she was, Ava, sitting cross-legged with 5 children around her, reading stories. When she saw him, her eyes widened. Tears flowed. "Why did you leave me?" Mason whispered, voice shaking. "I didn't want to break your family," she cried. "Your mother. She said terrible things. I thought your world didn't have space for someone like me." Mason knelt down and took her hand. "Money can buy anything in this world, except you. You're the only treasure I ever wanted." He pulled out the same silver ring and said, "This time, please don't say no." Ava nodded through tears. Yes, 100 times yes. They hugged. The children clapped. And at that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the money, not the past, just the love between 2 hearts from 2 different worlds. They got married in that very village, surrounded by children, books, and laughter. Victoria never accepted Ava, but Mason didn't care. He had chosen love over wealth. Years later, Ava's reading corner grew into a foundation with dozens of libraries. Mason left his company and helped her full-time. Together, they built something more powerful than money: hope. And every time someone asked Ava how she caught the richest bachelor in London, she'd smile and say, "I didn't. He found me, and he stayed." Because in a world obsessed with price tags, Mason proved one truth: money can't buy her.